Oil is sitting at $67 a barrel right now. That sounds calm, doesn't it? But experts are warning it could hit $120 a barrel by year end. Here's why they're right and why this time it actually is different. Iran has enough uranium to build multiple nuclear bombs right now. Let me explain what this means. Iran has been enriching uranium. That's the process of making it weapons grade. They're at 60% enrichment. Nuclear bombs need 90%. They are basically there. More importantly, they have enough material stockpiled for several warheads. This isn't some distant threat. This is happening now. And here's the kicker. Israel just bombed their nuclear facilities in June. For the first time ever, Israel directly attacked Iran's nuclear program. So ask yourself, if someone just bombed your nuclear facilities, would you give them up? Or would you rush to finish the job? September 28th is the deadline that could trigger oil chaos. Here's what's happening behind the scenes. Iran signed an agreement to allow nuclear inspectors full access to their facilities. But there's a catch. Their parliament has to approve it first. If Iran's parliament says no, which they probably will, automatic sanctions kick in on September 28th. These aren't normal sanctions. These are called snapback sanctions. What does that mean? It means Iran's oil exports get cut by millions of barrels overnight. When you remove millions of barrels from global supply, price spikes immediately. MST Marquis Saul Kavanagh warns this could create an unprecedented supply disruptions over coming weeks of much more severe nature than the oil price shock in 2022 in the wake of the Ukraine war. The Strait of Hormuz is the choke point that controls your energy cost. Let me paint you a picture. There's a 21-mile wide stretch of water between Iran and Oman called the Strait of Hormuz. 20% of the world's oil flows through the narrow passage every single day. Iran controls one side of it. They've already threatened to close it. Their parliament has actually approved of closing it if attacked. Bob McNally, president of Repedian Energy Group, puts it simply: a prolonged closure or destruction of the key Gulf energy infrastructure could propel crude prices to above $100 a barrel. But here's what makes this terrifying. Iran doesn't need to physically block it. They just need to attack one oil tanker. Insurance companies will immediately stop covering ships in the area. Oil transport stops, prices explode. University of Houston expert Ramanan Krishnapurti says oil could surge up to $120 per barrel if the Israel-Iran conflict damages Iranian oil infrastructure or impedes the passage of some oil tankers in the Strait of Hormuz. Pakistan just gave Saudi Arabia nuclear protection, and that changes everything. 3 weeks ago, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia signed a mutual defense. 3 weeks ago, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia signed a mutual defense pact. Think of it like NATO for the Middle East. An attack on one is an attack on both. But here's what makes this explosive. Pakistan has nuclear weapons. They are now essentially Saudi Arabia's nuclear shield against Iran. Why does this matter for oil? Because Iran is now surrounded. Israel bombing from the west, nuclear-backed Saudi Arabia from the south, U.S. forces everywhere. When you are concerned with no way out, you do desperate things. Remember 2019 when drones hit Saudi Arabia's Aramco oil facilities? They attacked, wiped out 5 million barrels of daily production, half of Saudi's oil output. Oil prices jumped 20% in hours. Now imagine Iran launching that same attack. But this time, knowing Pakistan's nuclear weapons are backing Saudi Arabia, the stakes just went nuclear, literally. For the first time ever, both sides are attacking energy infrastructure. This is what oil expert Andrew Lipow calls the game changer. This is really the first time we've seen oil and gas production facilities as well as refined product deposits actually being targeted and impacted. Israel hit Iran's South Pars natural gas field, the world's biggest gas field. They also struck the Sharon oil depot near Tehran. Iran retaliated by hitting Israel's Haifa refinery. Energy infrastructure used to be off limits, not anymore. Both sides are now directly targeting each other's energy assets. Here's the timeline that could send oil to $150 a barrel. In the next 30 days, if Iran blocks nuclear inspections, sanctions automatically trigger. Oil jumps 5 to 10% immediately just from lost Iranian supply. If there's any incident in the Strait of Hormuz, even one attack tanker, oil hits $90 overnight. If Iran attacks Saudi oil facilities again, we're looking at $100 a barrel within hours. But here's the worst case scenario. In the next 60 to 90 days, if Iran actually closes the Strait of Hormuz, we're talking about $120 plus oil. If this turns into a regional war with proxies attacking throughout the Gulf, oil could hit $150 a barrel. Goldman Sachs warns oil may exceed $100 a barrel in extreme tail scenario of an extended disruption. JPMorgan says Brent could spike as high as $120 in a worst case scenario. Why this time is really different. Every previous oil crisis involved countries that had something to lose. They could negotiate. They could back down. Iran's nuclear program is their survival insurance. They've spent decades building it. Israel just bombed it. They literally have nothing left to lose. The oil market volatility index is already at March 2022 levels, the same as when Russia invaded Ukraine. But this situation is actually more dangerous because it involves nuclear weapons and the world's most critical oil choke point. Iran can't back down. Their nuclear program is their only deterrent. Israel can't stop. A nuclear Iran is an existential threat. And now Pakistan's nuclear weapons are protecting Iran's biggest rival. Oil prices aren't just about supply and demand anymore. They are about nuclear physics driving energy market fundamentals. The market is finally waking up to reality. The bluffs are over. Energy markets are about to be fundamentally repriced. The biggest structural shift in oil markets is happening right now. I'm Sean Pruitt, president of Kingdom Exploration. If you like this channel, please subscribe. If you wish to learn more about oil well investing, please reach out to me. You can click on the link below, fill out my form, and please comment below. Help me with the Google search algorithm does not like my YouTube channel, and it helps when you comment. It helps when you share. Please subscribe. I can't even advertise on YouTube. The YouTube doesn't like when you speak truth about the oil business. All right, guys, stay tuned, and we'll talk soon. Thanks.